Today we'll be watching 3 Urban Legends horror story animated. Let's get
I
started.
came to Japan to work as a nurse in a post-surgical unit. Patients come from hundreds of miles away to get their operations
I'm on Opera GX so I don't get ads.
here. The surgeons are known to be the best. But what we don't tell the patients, what we're not supposed to tell them, is that this one is haunted.
Oh
There have
shit.
been more than a few events that have raised the hair on the back of my neck, and some have sent me into hysterical screaming fits. There was that time a few months ago when a patient told me she saw a woman wearing a red kimono stand beside her bed and watch her all night. The patient didn't see her face, as her black hair covered it.
Really? Where did you see her? There. She was standing right there.
The patient pointed at the curtains with a fearful face. I pulled back the curtains and showed her myself. All of the other beds were empty, and there was no visitors or staff in the room with her. As if that wasn't disturbing enough, a few weeks later, a different patient said the same thing, when she had been
Shit,
left
but if
alone in the
patients
same
said the
room.
thing, it's probably true.
Did you see her face? Oh, no, but I saw something else.
The patient was trembling like a timid rabbit.
What did you see? Her head was touching the ceiling. Her neck stretched up so high, almost like a snake.
Now that made my skin crawl a bit. I looked at the watch. It was 2:30 in the morning and I was already tired from pulling a night shift back to back in a row. I gave the patient some medicines to help her sleep. Once she fell asleep, I decided to stay awake in that ward. The ward has 6 beds and only one of them has a patient. Rests were neatly made, white beds waiting for their temporary owner. I picked up a magazine and sat on a chair. After 15 minutes, I could barely keep my eyes open. I knew it was against hospital rules, but I still laid down on the corner-side bed. It was honestly a quick and much-needed nap. I don't recall the time when I heard running footsteps on the wooden floor. I got up thinking someone has come, but found no one. The ward was empty like before. The one patient was now snoring.
Hello? Is anyone here?
Why so much emphasis on the boobs?
My senses sharpened once I heard a woman's chuckling voice. The door was closed like I had left it a few moments back. This proves that the chuckle took place inside this room.
Mrs. Tanaka? Are you sleepwalking again?
I couldn't turn on the lights as it'll wake up the ailing patient. The night lamp wasn't enough, so I switched on the flashlight on my phone. I saw a woman dressed in a red kimono standing right beside the door. She was far from me.
Oh shit.
I couldn't see her face, but one thing I could tell was that she was staring at me with an ear-to-ear smile.
Ah! Oh, God.
A sudden call from my mom almost gave me a heart attack.
Hi, Mom. Why are you still awake? Coco, are you all right? I'm perfectly fine, but why are you asking me this in the middle of the night? I had a very bad dream. Where are you? I'm at the hospital, Mom. Where else would I be? It's my night shift. Again. Did you say night shift? Yeah, why?
Yeah, it is night.
I just saw you dozing off at your night shift and you were being watched by this strange woman. She wore this red kimono and was...
Before my mom could finish her sentence, the call got disconnected. The phone dropped off from my shivering hands. With a slow, erratic heartbeat, I turned around where I saw the creepy woman a few seconds back. But she was gone.
Fuck.
Hello? What do you want?
My eyes searched the entire room, but the woman was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, my phone lit up once again.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
It was again my mom calling. I crouched down to pick up my phone, and accidentally my eyes went towards the patient's bed. I could see a pair of red feet peeking under a red kimono. I jumped and looked above the bed. There was no one.
What? Is this a nightmare?
By now, I have started to lose my mind. I just saw a woman's feet under the bed, but when I looked up, there was no one standing beside the patient's bed. I crouched down once again. And now, again, I saw those bare feet.
Fuck.
The nails on the big toes were missing, revealing the red,
Oh, is
puffy
that why it
flesh
looks like
underneath. I froze in that position. I was scared to look up when suddenly the feet started rotating to the back.
Oh
A
my
loud,
god.
horrifying sound of bones
Holy
breaking took
shit.
place with each movement of them. My voice died down in my throat. I knew what the patients kept saying about this ward is true, and I might not probably make it out of this room alive tonight.
Situation.
Just when I was on the verge of crying, the woman's neck dropped
Oh,
and
fuck.
her head started to roll down on the floor. Like a snake, her long neck stretched to inhuman lengths and started coming at me.
Coming at me.
Help!
I got up and started running towards the opposite side. I aimed for the door, but before I could get out, I tripped and fell.
Of course you tripped and fell.
I laid on my back, knowing the laughter has come from a close distance. I didn't want to turn around, but I knew I have to. My head slowly arched back to catch a glimpse, and the woman's head was touching the ceiling.
Oh my
Her mouth was
God.
open, and blood was dripping from it. Her swollen, twisted neck moved side to side like a bobbing spring.
That would
I don't
be fucking
remember when I fainted. I naturally left that job at the hospital after my parents picked me up from the
Obviously,
hospital.
what the fuck?
I was down with a fever. My grandma says Japanese people believe in this urban legend, which goes by the name Rokurokubi. They are said to be vengeful spirits roaming around at night. They love drinking their victims' blood, which made sense for her bleeding mouth. I don't know why she let me go
Mouth's
or
not
any other
bleeding.
patient who stayed in that ward. There's still no news of her hurting anyone, but I guess she gets bored alone, hence decides to play with people for her entertainment. Whatever the reason may be, I'm never going near that hospital ever again.
I wouldn't either.
Hi, I'm Sylvia. A week ago, I had to move to Pittsburgh alone with my
Yeah, we'll
dad.
keep going.
My father had landed a job in the city, and so I had no choice but to come with him. I love him a lot since he has taken care of me after my mom died in a car crash when I was young, but
Shit.
moving to a new city during midterm is such a pain. It's not easy for me to make friends in a new city, especially if you're a nerd. My grades got me admission into one of the top schools of the city. It was a nice campus, but the
Why
kids
is
there
everyone
were
a different art
anything
style?
but nice. On my first day itself, I got the worst scare of my life. I had just finished class and went to the restroom, and when I went in, the door got locked from outside. I panicked and was trying to open it when the power went off, and I heard a loud, ghostly voice roaring from the other end. I tried to run when I hit my head against something and collapsed. The next thing I know was that I was in the locker room, surrounded by people, and the principal of the school. I got up and they asked me what had happened, why I screamed and collapsed in the restroom. I told them what had happened. No one believed me. They thought I had some kind of daydream and asked me to relax.
Why
and
they
went
wouldn't
away.
believe you that someone was
Moments
in there with
after
you.
they left, two girls, Karen and Amelia, came up to me and told me something that shocked me. They told me about Charlie, a psychotic, faceless man who roams the town and abducts girls and kills them. I was terrified to hear this, and that night at dinner I told my dad what had happened. Dad dismissed it, saying there's nothing like a faceless man. It's just some stupid urban legend and a bunch of lies. I couldn't sleep well that night. The creature's face kept coming into my mind. I came out to the balcony
Coming
for
in
some
your
fresh
mind.
air, and that is when I saw something
Holy shit.
horrifying. On the street in front of the house, I saw a man in a hooded jacket walking slowly in front of my house. And just before he passed our house, he stopped and looked up at me. I jumped
Ew.
in horror. It was the same faceless man Amelia
That is not
and Karen
faceless,
had
that's just an
told me.
ugly face.
I screamed in fear and ran inside. My dad came to me room and asked me what had
Me
happened.
room.
When I told him, he immediately went to the balcony to check, but there was no one there. He took me to him room and made me sleep next
What the
to him.
fuck is this
I was
English?
shivering in fear. He consoled me and made me sleep. The next day, when I
Made
went to
you
school,
sleep.
I
What,
saw
he put a pillow on
Amelia
your
and
face?
quickly rushed to her to tell her what had happened, but she was not thought. When I shook her back to reality, she looked at me and broke down.
Hey, Amelia, what happened?
She was breathing hard and told me.
Karen is missing. She went out last night and never came back.
I was shocked to hear this and was about to
Fuck.
ask something when the cops arrived at our school and wanted to meet us and question us regarding Karen. We told them all that we knew. We told the cops about the faceless creature and they just laughed it off, saying it was just an urban legend. After they left, I told her that I saw the faceless creature again in the night. Amelia had decided to go look for the creature. I told her that it was a bad idea, but she would not listen and left. I was worried for Amelia, and in spite of being scared, decided to help her. We took our cycles, did not tell
Target.
anybody where we were going, and rode to the edge of town. There was an abandoned tunnel. Amelia told me that the creature lived in this place. We kept our cycle outside and went into the tunnel. I was scared, but Amelia was determined to find her friend. As we went in, the place got darker and darker. Just when we were about to switch on our mobile lights, we heard a scream.
Oh, at least she's alive.
We froze for a second. Amelia's eyes lit up. She told me that it was Karen's voice. We ran inside, but the
Karen.
tunnel split into two paths. We did not know where the sound came from, and we did not want to split and search either. We decided to take the path on the right and started walking inside. A little ahead, we saw a door, but it was locked. Amelia asked me to look for something to break the door open. I was looking for something in the dark when the door suddenly opened. I turned to look. There he was.
Fuck.
Charlie. He had the ugliest face, completely wrinkled and scary. I screamed in fear and froze. He looked very angry and charged towards Amelia. Amelia was trying to fight back, but she was losing. I had to do something. I looked around and found an iron rod. I took it
Bullshit,
and hit
you
his head
found something to
hard.
hit him with.
He collapsed and fainted. We quickly went in to rescue Karen and called the cops and ran out. The cops came after some time, went into the tunnel and came back saying that there was no one inside. We were shocked to hear this. We had proved that the legend was true, but feared that Charlie was still out there and will be looking to take revenge on us. The cops asked us not to leave home for a few days, and that they'd put out a notice for Charlie, the faceless man. That night, when I was asleep, I heard the window of my room crack open. I looked
Fuck,
and was
he's
shocked.
back.
It was Charlie. He was rushing towards me, saying, "I will kill you!" I jumped and screamed in fear and tried to rush out, but he grabbed my hand and pulled me. I fell on the bed and yelled out to my dad for help. Just when the door opened and Dad came in with a shovel and hit Charlie in the head. We called the cops who came in and arrested Charlie. The town was finally free of that faceless psychopath.
Yes. Alright, we'll end with that.